I came across a video on my X account today. And if I'm being honest with you guys, not only was I furious, I was also mad, I was jealous. Basically, I was not happy.
The more children you have, the more leave you will get.
That video is of the Prime Minister of Singapore. His name is Lawrence Wong. Yes. Lawrence Wong was breaking down what parents in Singapore get every time they give birth to a child, or rather, the updated terms on what they're going to get every time they give birth in Singapore.
Every newborn will receive a baby gift of $10,000.
The moment a child is born in Singapore, the government hands the parents a whopping 10,000 USD, 10,000 US dollars, just like that, upfront. Then,
a MediSave grant of $5,000 and a child development account with an initial grant of $5,000 and a dollar-for-dollar matching grant of another $5,000.
that is 20,000 USD. In Kenyan shillings, that is over $2.5 million. Okay, million Kenyan shillings, going straight into supporting a newborn child.
This is what you get at birth, but the support will not stop there.
Hearing that made me instantly recall how the president was telling us,
mulisikia baba alituambia kuna safari ya Canaan. Mulisikia ama hamkusikia? Hiyo safari ya Canaan ni hii ya kwenda Singapore hii. Hiyo ya Canaan ndio hiyo.
telling us how he's gonna turn Kenya into the Singapore of Africa.
Ati tunataka kwenda Singapore.
Also, guys, have you noticed how this administration, Ruto's administration, has gone totally silent on that whole Singapore story? I mean, when is the last time you even had Ruto himself talking about turning Kenya into Singapore?
Kasongo anasema ati muende Singapore. Si tucheke.
Also, do you remember what Ruto promised to give newborn babies in this country? Do you remember?
Diapers for their children for a minimum of 3 months paid for by the government of Kenya.
I am so glad that the Singapore Prime Minister has finally exposed how all those promises were actually a scam. Let me give you more details. If you love this kind of content, go ahead and like this video and subscribe. Now let's get to the video.
We are going to move this country from a third world country to a first world country.
They promised us a first world country right here, right now. Instead, while people from Singapore, are they called Singaporeans? Yeah, Singaporeans. While Singaporeans receive over 2.5 million Kenya shillings per child, what did Ruto promise Kenyan mothers during the campaigns of 2022?
I commit to provide mothers of newborn babies with diapers.
Yes, diapers. Yeah, diapers. And specifically, he promised that every single woman who has given birth would actually get a minimum of 3 months supply of diapers funded by his government.
For a minimum of 3 months paid for by the government of Kenya.
Now, years into his administration, I want to confirm that not a single mother in this country who has had those diapers.
Mr. President.
Last week, when he was having one of those barazas that he's holding, I think he calls them presidential barazas or something, when he was asked on it.
But I want to take you back to 2022, where you made certain promises. One of them was that any mother that delivers will get free diapers. I thought in 2023 I'll be one of the first beneficiaries. I didn't get diapers. What happened?
His response was a classic double down.
Thank you very much, Mercy. And I can tell this auditorium that by the time I complete my term, my first term, I can tell you I will have discharged all the commitments I had made and made sure that every mother who walks out of hospital will walk out with diapers once they give birth.
First of all, it was a 100-day promise.
by December 2022, every Kenyan, including every Kenyan woman.
Now he's telling us that we are going to get it before the 5-year term is completed.
By the time I complete my term, my first term, I can tell you I will have discharged all the commitments I had made.
Does anyone actually believe that those diapers are actually coming? Please tell me in the comment section. Do you actually believe that the president is actually going to give women who have given birth in this country diapers? Because I don't.
Let's say I was there, Mr. President, in 1 minute, because the people who were I was a copy.
You see, we're talking about giving out diapers in a country where old people, old citizens of this country, end up waiting up to 5 or 6 months before they get their 2,000 Kenya shillings from the government. These 2,000 Kenya shillings are supposed to come every single month, but sometimes it is delayed 5 to 6 months. That is the kind of government that is telling you guys that you're going to get diapers the moment you leave the hospital and 3 months later.
Every mother who walks out of hospital will walk out with diapers once they give birth.
We're talking about a first world dream in a country where pregnant mothers walk into a public hospital only to share beds amongst 2 or 3 mothers. Have you seen that kind of nightmare? Because I saw it firsthand and I was traumatized. Some women have gotten CSs. Some women have the worst of the worst conditions like preeclampsia. But somehow they're supposed to share beds, 2 or 3 of them. Basic dignity in childbirth is actually missing in this country. Yet the public is expected to celebrate PR announcements about leaving the hospital with a pack of diapers. A pack of diapers?
But the support will not stop there.
You see, for Singapore mothers, the government's generosity or involvement does not stop at childbirth. In Singapore, the state covers education fully. That is something that you should know. The government of Singapore covers the education fully. But on top of that,
every child will continue to get annual child credits of $2,000 every year from age 1 all the way to age 16. They will also get EduSave top-ups every year in primary and also in secondary school. And at 17, they will get a further top-up of $10,000 into their post-secondary education account.
This, as a Kenyan, should make you sad. Why? You see, at independence, Kenya and Singapore were sitting at a comparable economic starting point. They were basically starting from the same level. As a matter of fact, I have a feeling we had an advantage. We had resources, human capital, and the geographical advantage. I mean, in our country, you can actually plant a lot of foods. So we had everything that we needed to build one of the strongest economies on the planet. Instead, continuous cycles of political leadership that is focused on self-preservation have kept this country stuck at one place.
Singapore gained independence in 1965 under dictator Lee Kuan Yew. Corruption was rampant and was often described as a way of life in the region. But Lee had a no-nonsense approach to this and gave the Anti-Graft Bureau wide-ranging powers to catch offenders. High-ranking politicians and acquaintances were not immune to jail time either. He was famously quoted as saying, "Start with putting 3 or 4 of your friends in jail and people will believe you."
What is so hard to understand there? This country, the reason why we are stuck where we are is because every leader who gets into office, and I'm talking about any office, including the village elder, including the chief, MCA, going upward until the president, all those leaders, their main focus is just one, to enrich themselves. So how are we ever going to succeed? How are we ever going to move forward as a country? Now, William Ruto claims that he has delivered on his promises and expects an A+ grade at the ballot box.
On that list of the commitments that I made to the people of Kenya, I will be ready for the exam next year. I will be ready for the exam next year. And my target is to get 100%.
How out of touch do you have to be to claim 100% success when basic services in your own countries are failing? Healthcare, my God. Do you understand that healthcare is one of those things that no country should joke around with?
One of the most indignifying and saddest thing I have encountered in the healthcare system is the impact of poverty. Like your socioeconomic status or the level, the amount of money you have, the amount of resources you can mobilize or bring to the system determine whether you live or die.
You see, there's something that usually happens. Whenever you question a supporter of this government, what this regime has actually done, they will always mention major projects. They'll mention Talanta Stadium. They'll mention the Rironi Mau Summit Road. They'll mention Bomas of Kenya. They'll also mention the affordable housing.
Rais Ruto amejenga barabara 25,000 kilometers.
They point to infrastructure that has zero immediate bearing on whether an ordinary Kenyan can actually afford dinner tonight.
Maybe wacha kutumia due to high cost of living.
Sugar. Hey, tissue.
You remember even during Uhuru's time, people used to ask Uhuru, tutakula barabara? Because also Uhuru had the same problem. He used to say how he's built the expressway, the railway. And then people were like, are we going to eat the road? Because at the end of the day, the question becomes, what about the small business owner who has actually shut down their business because of overtaxation?
Hi everyone, I wanted to take a moment and share some news with you. We have come to a difficult decision to close down our shop, and I want to thank everyone for the incredible support that you have shown our business since we opened back in 2022.
What about the thousands of kids across all villages and small towns in this country who actually do not go to school? Because, and if you've not noticed, public education has become unaffordable.
Kwa nini uliacha shule?
Niliwacha shule anamesa pesa.
This same government, give it a second term.
Mimi niko kwa tayari kwa mtihani. Hiyo mtihani tutafanya 2027. Mimi niko tayari kwa hiyo mtihani.
You see, as Kenyans, we need to have a serious discussion. We have to talk about things that really affect us. This system that we are operating on as Kenyans no longer works for us. As a matter of fact, this system needs a fundamental structural change.
The source of a problem, the head of a snake, is Ruto. It has to be cut off.
And that change needs to be driven by leaders who aren't tied to old way of doing politics in this country. In short, no one from the Moi era should be found anywhere close to power.
These people, we know them, their behaviors. Yeah. And they don't be even shocked if they have worked together. But people are shocked, Bana, that we could not believe Raila is working with Ruto. So what makes you think Kalonzo will not work with Ruto?
We need leadership that understands economic realities. Leaders who prioritize job creation, protect public education, and fix healthcare rather than treating the public budget like a private bank account. Have you seen how much the State House uses?
So we will raise the income ceiling. For BTO flats, it will go up from $14,000 to $16,000.
That video from the Singapore Prime Minister is a slap to the face. As a matter of fact, it's a slap to the face for we, wananchi. It should make us not only feel jealous, but it should serve as a wake-up call. It should tell us that as a country, as a people, we should realize that so much is possible when a government prioritizes its people over political theater. Those guys from Singapore, the Singaporeans, they are not fundamentally different from Kenyans. As a matter of fact, the government just built systems that work for the public rather than for the elite.
Singapore is a small country that rejected corruption. It put necessary system, institutional bureaucracy that ensured there is no corruption. All penny that is needed to do public work trickles down.
The government, and especially this government of William Samoei Ruto, has made sure that the rich will keep being rich and the poor will keep being poor and poorer.
Every system in Kenya is failing, and let's stop pretending like it's not. Like mnajifanya tuko sawa. Every system is failing. Let's start from health. Nini yetu hospitali. Is it to the insurance zina fail? When it comes to school, ona nini admission vya watoto wanasumbuka na parents, it's failing. When it comes to labor, job, market, hakuna. When it comes to just money, cash flow in Kenya, it's not, unless you're the 1% and unless you're making good money, it is failing.
We need to stop accepting shiny distractions and start demanding for basic delivery. Stop building us big things. Please, stop building us big things. Give us basic things that work. Stop building us the biggest roads, the biggest stadiums. When there's enough money in this economy, those things will come up. So are you telling us that people cannot own stadiums? Are you telling us that people cannot build private stadiums? I know it is very much possible, but how can that happen when businesses are shutting down in this country? When multinational companies are shutting their offices in the country and people are being rendered jobless? How is that possible? Look at like Kibaki's time. We didn't have the most roads. We didn't have the biggest stadiums. Neither did we have the biggest buildings. There was no affordable housing, but people had money. And you hear people talk about how much they developed during Kibaki's time. A clear sign that if the economy is doing well, all these things will come. All these things will come. But I want to hear what you think, because that was just my view. What do you think? Will we ever get to the place that Singapore is today? Are we ever going to get there? And if at all we are supposed to get there, what kind of leader, or you can be specific, which leader do you think is capable of getting us there? Let's talk in the comment section, and do not forget to subscribe.